Hello and welcome back to The Forest. It's your host, Frank Weber, and it's a Frankly Harry podcast. So glad you could join me again this week. I have a great show for you today, one that's actually been mostly re-recorded from my original version of this episode, just for content mainly. The only thing that is carrying over that I have to tell you about is that I'm unable to post my Halloween pics on social media. I don't know exactly what happened. I think I overcropped them or over-edited them or something like that. It reminds me of a story, and this is the best part of it. It reminds me of a story from high school. I had this girl in my class named Louisa, who was a attractive, funny, outgoing girl. I don't know why I didn't maybe get to know her a little better, but one time we were in a class together and she used the word technologically retarded. I think she said that her family was technologically retarded or something like that. And of course, a lot of people nowadays, they think retarded is a politically incorrect word or rude or whatever, but actually the word retarded in a lot of context is actually an appropriate word. In fact, I think that was in chemistry class, and you can actually retard a chemical reaction by cooling it down, for instance, to slow it down or keep it from happening. So it's still technically an acceptable word. But anyway, she used the word technologically retarded, and for some reason it stuck with me, and I randomly remember that memory of her. I don't know, it was really kind of interesting just thinking back. I think one time she and a girl named Jennifer lifeguarded at this small public pool, and I remember hearing at a distance, she thought I was hot or something like that. A good ego booster at 17 years old or whatever it was, but that was back in my full bear days, before I was doing any kind of shaving and that sort of thing. But I really appreciated that, and then we had this class together a little bit later, and I think I pissed her off, and she told me fuck you for some reason, and I don't know. Anyway, it's just a random quote and a random memory from somebody I remember from high school. She wasn't even really, we didn't date or anything like that. If she's listening right now, if you're listening, Louisa, hi. Hope you're doing fine in this life all these years later. I was actually kind of more interested in this girl named Beth, was more of my high school sweetheart. And if she's listening, I would say hi to her as well. But I thought I'd share that story with you. How it's weird how memories are kind of tucked away in a closet of your mind, and random things will happen to kind of pull them out. And it just so happens I'm having trouble with computers and social media lately, and hopefully I can learn a lot more of those and post pictures and videos and things like that for you in the future. The rest of this show is going to be one of those Q&As, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. And speaking of high school memories, the first question that I have is, what do you think, Frank, of high school reunions? And, it's a good segue into that question from what I just told you. I like high school reunions if they're planned well and I get a notice for them. I went to one. Let me backtrack a little bit here. Some people have a lot of ill feelings and grudges from way back in the day. Like my brother, he says he's never ever going back to a reunion or to the high school or anything like that. He's done with them. I, on the other hand, went to my 10-year reunion in, 2006. I saw Beth there, but I don't think I saw Louisa. And I had a blast. It was fun reminiscing. It was fun seeing everybody. We were all still in our late 20s at the time, so fairly young, and I enjoyed it. It was like being back in the past, in terms of being able to talk to everybody and kind of let loose and have a good time. So that memory 18 years ago was a lot of fun. Supposedly we had one at 20 years, and I was looking at it. I was looking for it all year. And then it just never came about. I never heard anything, never got an invitation or anything. And I believe on social media within the year or two after that, there was pictures out that they did in fact have one. And apparently they went some different way in inviting people to that one. And I don't know, I wasn't on the social media at the time, so I don't know if they invited people through Facebook or something different from the first time. So obviously that was very disappointing to me. And then at 25, which would have been 2021, we didn't have a reunion then, not because of COVID, but because of the Alumni Association or whoever is trying to promote this only does reunions on the 10s. So I thought that was really strange, but in general, I like the reunions. I think they're fun, and it's nice to catch up and see where everybody's at. We had a very eclectic. I can't say that word. Eclectic group of graduates there, and people are into all sorts of things, and yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. That thing only lasted one night, and it was 18 years ago though, and I missed the second one, and maybe there'll be a 30th and 26. I imagine there probably will be. One of the things too about the reunions, real quick before we wrap up, I don't live in town anymore. I don't live in the Austin area, but I almost would be willing to maybe organize it and plan for it a little bit next time around. Not really sure what exactly I would do at this point, but I think that might be something that I was interested in. It's going to be difficult though, because I don't live there. But anyway, let's go ahead and do the next question there. What do you think about the recent news, Frank, of LPGA superstar Nelly Korda posing for the next edition of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue? Great topic. I have a lot of thoughts, of course, on Nelly and then the LPGA in general. In fact, I think I talked a little bit about the tour several months ago now. One of the early episodes, in fact. I don't know which number it was, but I like Nelly. I think she's a terrific golfer. She is had a lot of media attention these last couple of years. I won a lot of tournaments, several in a row, I think, earlier this year, and I think she's going to be in the running for the what the hell is that thing? The Globe Trophy at the end of the year. In fact, this coming weekend after this show drops, I think is the final tournament of the year in Naples, which I considered going to, but I don't think the desire is quite there for some reason. But I like Nelly. She's very talented, a superb golfer, but and she's attractive. I've seen some swimsuit pictures. I don't know if they were the ones for the magazine. She's definitely an upgrade over some of the other people that they have put into the magazine in recent years, and that's all I'll say about that. But I've seen some swimsuit pictures. She's very attractive, but then I kind of feel like, and I'm not trying to be rude or misogynistic or I'm not trying to put her down in any way, but she seems like she's missing something. And I don't know, and if she had that something, she would be even more attractive, I guess you could say. More attractive and someone you would be a little bit more willing to follow. And I actually said after her streak on this show or in a Substack article that I think if she smiled more while she was playing golf and looked like she was having a little bit more fun, I think that would probably go a long way. She's kind of emblematic, though, I think, of the larger LPGA. I mean, she's always wearing the sun sleeves, which I absolutely hate. I'm glad she's in Sports Illustrated. I think it'll be terrific for her and the tour. I think I said that she started smiling more in the weeks after. I think I said that, not that she was listening to me, but I think somebody else was probably telling her about what she looked like when she was playing golf. Now, admittedly, that's her job, and it's a tour, and it's a tough game, and a lot of competition out there. So, but a lot of people want to be fans of people who seem like regular folks having a good time. But then I kind of think she's a little emblematic of where the LPGA is. Like, it's golf on TV, and there's a lot of jokes about that, about golf on TV making you fall asleep or helping you take a nap or whatever, regardless of who's playing. And there's a lot of talent, a lot of great talent from all over the world on that tour and the other women's tour for that matter, whether it's the European tour. And I don't know if there's another one or not, but if the LPGA wants to be as popular as the men, they have to do some simple things that I'm not sure if they're willing to do. Like I've just mentioned the sun sleeves, which Nelly wears all the time, every single tournament that she's in. Those need to go. I think pants need to go a lot as well. You're talking, you don't have to say sex sells necessarily with the LPGA. They don't have to dress like Paige Spiranac playing golf. Now, Paige is lovely, and I think an interesting person and somebody that I think would be a good conversation for this show. But, a lot of what she wears would violate dress codes at a lot of clubs. Assuming they're wearing something weather appropriate, I think, shorts or golf skirt and then short sleeves or no sleeves to show a little more skin, nothing that would be considered sexual would be a great starting point for the LPGA to gain viewership, especially from men, because let's be honest, men are pigs. We like to see a little bit more skin shown. And then I think, personality-wise for a lot of the players, I think more smiling, more having fun would be great. Both of those reasons are reasons why I like Lexi Thompson. I mean, she cracks a smile every now and then, looks like she's having fun. She dresses appropriately for the weather and isn't afraid to have a little bit of sun either. And then she's retiring, and I think that's bad for the tour. But anyway, I don't know if they can legislate that or not, and their commissioner is different now than a few years ago. And anyway, I kind of think Nelly's kind of a microcosm of some of the other things that are going on in the LPGA that aren't quite right. But like I said, in the end, you may not care about this topic. It's golf on TV. The great, I think isn't it amnestic or hypnotic, I think is actually what it is. Whatever makes you go to sleep. Forgot my dental sedation terms there, but that's golf on TV, regardless of who's playing. It's likely to do that, and are the ratings really that good regardless of who's out there? So anyway, maybe I went on a little bit too long on that, but be interested to hear your thoughts on that. I know I've talked about that before. I think he even wrote a written Substack article on there, yeah, I think it'll be great exposure for her, literally and figuratively, as well as for the LPGA. Okay, third and last question. What, in your opinion, Frank, among the many themes of the Bible, considering that you're reading it a lot and praying a lot and learning many new things, which of the many themes in the Bible do you think is the most understated and most not talked about in the outside world? Well, it's another great question. What I say today is not necessarily what I may say tomorrow or a few weeks from now or years from now. Obviously, my views on this have changed a lot over the last quarter century, but the main thing that I would tell you is everything that I see in the Bible, whether whatever God does or what he does not do, it's all meant for his glory. The whole story is really ultimately about him and only him. It is somewhat about us as well, but taken into context, everything is about him and his glory. And, we are partners along for the ride. He wants us to be in relationship with him, and we can help make his will and his glory come about. But since it's all about him, that means it's not about us too much. And I tend to think that being over interested in self, being selfish or narcissistic, self-aggrandizing, or even having, whether you have a good self, a really good, tremendous self-image, maybe kind of almost kind of haughty self-image or even a negative self-image, all of those things are problems in the world, and they go against God's glory. Now, that doesn't mean, of course, that we, don't have certain self-interests, like we need to survive, we need to make a living, we need to provide food and shelter and so forth for our families and all that. That's not what I'm talking about, but I do think that most of the problems in the world come from not giving God enough glory and trying to give ourselves that glory instead. I think that's where we get into just so many problems in society and culture. Maybe the entire world in general has always kind of been like that. Even early man from the book of Genesis and much of the Old Testament, New Testament, and other works of literature out there really hasn't changed much in that time. And it all happens to be about, is it God or is it about self? And, once you realize that simple concept, I think it, with God's help, it kind of helps us get onto a little bit better track and live and experience a little bit more fulfilling life. I really meant that part about, people know about, we all know about selfishness and narcissism, but actually people who are too focused on themselves in the other way, and having bad self-image or putting themselves down are kind of doing the same thing too. But anyway, that's that balance, God's glory and versus reasonable self-interest. And if you know that balance and that dichotomy, I think we'd all be a lot better off. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, this episode. I'd love to hear what you think about that. Love to get likes and comments. I think you can even direct message me here on Substack. And of course, as always, really appreciate it if you'd hit subscribe and tell everybody you know about this show. It's a Frankly Harry podcast and Life's Comedic Odyssey. Numbers seem to be growing. I'm happy about that. I hope that this is valuable for you, like I'm providing something of real meaning here. And, that you like my stories and commentary, and I look forward to doing it every week. So, well, until then, this is Frank Weber signing off from the forest on It's a Frankly Harry podcast, and look forward to seeing you next time. I love you all. Bye.